On today's show, we're reacting to Bruce Feldman's latest NFL mock draft on The Athletic. Some interesting things coming out of it. We're going to break them down here on today's show. But first, I want to hear from you down in the comments. Who is the best player in the NFL draft? What do you think? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. Best player in the 2023 NFL draft. Could be C.J. Stroud, who Bruce Feldman has mocked number 1 overall here to the Carolina Panthers. And I feel like this is the trend. It seems to be trending in this direction, that C.J. Stroud is going to Carolina at number 1 overall. And that was happening before that viral clip where new quarterbacks coach Josh McCown was like, yeah, we'll find a place to hoop when you live in Charlotte, not when you come to Charlotte on a draft visit. Live in Charlotte. So I do think that Frank Reich, Josh McCown, that front office, that coaching staff prefers C.J. Stroud. We got a couple weeks before the draft, though that could change. But Feldman would have many recently who has Stroud going to Carolina at number 1 overall, which would mean Bryce Young, number 2 to the Houston Texans. And this was probably the guy the Texans would have taken at 1 if Lovie Smith hadn't helped the Chicago Bears in Week 18. And if you're a Texans fan, I think you're pretty thrilled with this outcome because, at least for me, Bryce Young is QB1. And I don't think you can go wrong with Stroud or Young. But Stroud in Houston might be a franchise changer there in H-Town with new head coach DeMeco Ryans and some guys they've added this offseason. This would cap off a perfect offseason for the Houston Texans. Will Anderson would be a heck of a pick for the Cardinals at number 3. Now, I don't really think there's much doubt that he's going to be the first non-quarterback taken. Now, the question is, will the Cardinals trade out of that number 3 spot? There's certainly been some buzz about that recently. If they don't, expect Anthony Richardson to go to the Indianapolis Colts. He's probably going to be the 3rd quarterback taken. Now, the Colts have been linked to Lamar Jackson. It's certainly a possibility that Lamar will end up in Indianapolis. But if he doesn't, Anthony Richardson to the Colts makes a lot of sense for Indy. New head coach Shane Steichen. And I look what Steichen has done with Herbert. I look at what he's done with Jalen Hurts. That'd be a really good match, him and Anthony Richardson together in Indy. Jalen Carter, number 5 overall to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, 5-6 weeks ago, even earlier than that, that wouldn't have been a hot take. That's where most people had Jalen Carter going. But after all the things that have happened in the past couple of weeks, obviously learning of his involvement in the crash that killed a Georgia teammate and a staffer, and then his pro day performance, the weight gain, his stock has significantly fallen. So I do not see Jalen Carter going top 5 anymore. Now, his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, said he's not going to meet with any teams outside the top 10 because he believes his client's a top 10 pick. Could he still go top 10? Yeah, but I don't see him going top 5. I don't see him going number 5 to Seattle. Who is going to draft Jalen Carter? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. Might be Philly. I could certainly see that happening. Tyree Wilson is mocked number 6 overall here to the Detroit Lions. If Jalen Carter doesn't go number 5 overall to Seattle, I could certainly see the Seahawks taking Tyree Wilson at number 5 overall there in Seattle. But in this Bruce Feldman mock, he's going number 6 overall to the Lions. Number 7 overall, it's not Will Levis to the Raiders. It is Paris Johnson Jr. The Raiders obviously need some offensive tackle help. Now, they could use a quarterback as well. I don't know if Jimmy G's the long-term guy there, but Bruce Feldman thinks Paris Johnson Jr. is the first offensive lineman off the board here and is Vegas bound. Lucas Van Ness probably going to be a top 10 pick. He's mocked number 8 overall here to Atlanta after a spectacular career at the University of Iowa. A lot of good Iowa defenders in this draft. Van Ness probably going to be the first off the board there, mocked to Atlanta here by Feldman. Now, if you love the NFL Draft, be sure to subscribe to our new NFL Draft channel. The more subs we get over there, the more content we're going to post for y'all. YouTube.com/ChatNFL. If you haven't subscribed already, that is the sub link, and that sub link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Go and subscribe right now. Peter Skoronski, another Big Ten guy, number 9 overall to Chicago. They didn't get Orlando Brown. They did not get some other offensive linemen like Mike McGlinchey that they were linked to. So maybe they will draft a offensive lineman here at number 9. They certainly need some more help there on that offensive line for Justin Fields. Some people might call this a reach. I would disagree because the Eagles have a need at running back, and Bijan is the best running back in this NFL draft. There's been a lot of talk about him going to Philly late first round. Maybe they'll take him, though, with their first round pick here at number 10 overall. Now, should the Eagles draft Bijan Robinson at number 10 overall? Let me know down in the comment section. Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comments. That'd be a lot of fun. Bijan in Philly, according to Bruce Feldman. It might happen. Jackson Smith-Njigba, meanwhile, is off the board here. Number 11 overall to the Tennessee Titans in Feldman's mock draft. So he goes before Addison and before Quentin Johnston. We'll see. I think I'd prefer Johnston and Addison over JSN. But still, that's a big need for the Titans. They really need some wide receiver help. Got a trade. According to Feldman, you have the Giants moving up here 13 spots to acquire that pick from the Houston Texans at number 12 overall and go up and get Christian Gonzalez, one of the best corners in this draft out of the University of Oregon. One of the best offensive linemen in this draft is Broderick Jones out of Georgia. I think he's the most surefire tackle in this draft, going to be a star in this league. The Jets could use some tackle help if they draft Jones. I'm not sure what that means for Mekhi Becton. We'll have to wait and see. Becton looking good in his recovery. Devon Witherspoon, number 14 overall here, the corner out of Illinois going to the New England Patriots. They brought back John Jones. Now Feldman has them drafting Witherspoon in his mock. Feldman also has Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, the tight end, going to the Packers, and I think that he needs to be Green Bay's top target. Even if they move on from Aaron Rodgers, you got to get some help to trade. You got to get some help to Jordan Love because even if you move on from Rodgers, you still need a lot of weapons, right, for Jordan Love. You want to see how Jordan Love does with weapons. You want him to have help. You want to see how he does with help and see if he can reach his full potential. Mayer is the best tight end in this draft by a long shot, in my opinion, and he'd be a fantastic pick here by the Packers at 15 overall. Joey Porter Jr. would be a great pick for the Commanders, number 16 overall, the corner out of Penn State. Really like him as a prospect. Speaking of like this video if you love the NFL Draft. Hit the thumbs up icon. Everyone watching should be liking the video. I think all of us love the NFL Draft. Nolan Smith, his stock has gone up big time. He was the big winner from the NFL Combine. It was supposed to be an early second-round pick. Feldman has him going number 17 overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Elijah Cansey, meanwhile, number 18 overall, the defensive tackle out of Pitt, had a really solid career there going to the Detroit Lions. The Lions have 2 first-round picks. They use the latter on Cansey in Feldman's mock. Zay Flowers, this might be a reach, but I don't hate the pick. Number 19 overall here to Tampa Bay. Flowers probably going to go late first. I don't agree with him going this high, but he's really good. I also don't agree with Levis falling this far back in a potential trade here. This is a mock trade. The Tennessee Titans going up and getting Levis here at 20th overall, but I just don't see a world where Levis falls to 20. I mean, I've seen a lot of mocks that going top 5. I just don't see him falling all the way down to 20. Now, you see surprising falls every year, so maybe this year it'll be a quarterback like Will Levis. Getting in now to pick number 21 in Feldman's mock, it is Dalton Kincaid, the tight end out of Utah, probably the second best tight end in this class behind Michael Mayer. He's going to the Chargers. A lot of people thought Dalton Schultz was going to be a Charger. They need some tight end help. Dalton Kincaid would certainly help fill that need. The Ravens, no surprise, they need secondary help. Don't think Marcus Peters is coming back. So Deonte Banks to Baltimore here, according to Feldman's mock. This is really interesting. Hendon Hooker in the first round. Quarterback out of Tennessee was having a Heisman caliber season before his torn ACL, going to the Minnesota Vikings here at number 23 overall. Now, according to Feldman, they should. But what do you think? Should the Vikings draft a quarterback in round 1? Type D for draft or type P for pass down in the comment section. Go down, let me know. I don't think they should. Kirk Cousins, I don't know if he's the guy long-term. He's a free agent after next season. But drafting a quarterback in round 1, certainly a bit aggressive. Myles Murphy, the edge rusher out of Clemson, mocked here to Jacksonville at number 24 overall. And this is really interesting right here. Quentin Johnston mocked to Houston here. Again, Houston in this mock draft traded back with the New York Giants. The Giants moved up to 12. The Texans moved back to 25. If you trade back all the way to 25 and still get Johnston, that is a huge win for Houston, because if I'm Houston, I'm taking Johnston at pick 12. So if you can trade back and still get who I believe is the best wide receiver in this class, that's a huge dub. Darnell Washington, his stock is rising significantly. Probably was going to be a mid to late second round pick before the combine. This is one of the first mock drafts I've seen him, though, going first round. The Cowboys did lose Dalton Schultz. They could use a tight end. Darnell Washington is a heck of a talent. And then Mozzie Smith, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, really physical, talented defensive lineman out of Michigan. I like him to Buffalo here in this mock draft. And then Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle out of Tennessee. A lot of question marks right now around La'el Collins and Jonah Williams' future in Cincinnati. So we'll see what happens there. But you certainly need all the help you can get for Joe Burrow along that offensive line. Jordan Addison falls all the way to pick number 29 in this draft, where he gets snatched up by the Saints. I mean, imagine Chris Olave, Addison, and Michael Thomas in the same offense. That would be one of the best wide receiver rooms in the National Football League. Keon White mocked here to the Eagles, pick number 30 overall, the Eagles' second first-round pick here in this draft, the edge rusher out of Georgia Tech. And then Will McDonald, the edge out of Iowa State, the last pick of the first round, number 31 overall to Kansas City. Grade Feldman's mock draft down in the comment section. Go down, let me know what you think. Grade Feldman's mock draft, type A, B, C, D, or F. Taking a look at some notable non-first-round picks. These teams do not have first-round picks. Let's see who they took. The Rams going with Julius Brents, the cornerback out of Kansas State in the second round. Yaya Diaby going to the Dolphins, the defensive lineman out of Louisville. Andre Carter II, the edge rusher out of Army, going to the Browns. Sidney Brown, the defensive back out of Illinois to the Broncos. And then Jacorian Bennett, the edge rusher, the defensive back out of Maryland, third round, number 99 overall, to the San Francisco 49ers.